heavy sleeper. Phase 2 of my plan is going underway. I wonder what he's playing. Ah, well, the tanks. What is that on the screen? Two. Oh, they were expecting to play that. Although, I do own that one day. Yeah, I got your book right here. It's everything about World War One. Oh, come on, I didn't think it was that bad.
You don't get it.
Well, what's the matter?
I'm crying because it's Oktoberfest. I can't even go to Germany. Thanks to your goddamn president, it's hard to get in and out of the country. I will never be with my family in frickin' Oktoberfest.
I'll tell you what, why don't you take my passport and go over there? It'll get you easily back here in the country.
What? You will willingly give me your passport?
Yeah, you'll be fine. I mean, we both look the same. It's not like the state's gonna question that. And if we look the same and we know our identifications, you're fine to go.
Yeah, that is true. We do look the same.
Just do me a favor, when you go to Germany, just give me some souvenirs. Why don't you get yourself a souvenir too? Let's see. There's a couple of bucks in the safe behind me. American money translating more money a little bit over there in Germany. So you go have fun.
Thank you, man. I will repay you. I promise. Thank you, man. I'll go now.
Danke. The tiger too he likes. I think I could spare one for the Americans. Yep. Enjoy your new tank, American. Or should I say, King American? Yeah. Time for phase 2.
What's this? What? That's my...
Well, since I have my console out, let's see what's on World Tanks. What the f-
I can't believe it. America has a tiger now. The king tiger. This is the captured tiger king. Which, according to history, America did capture a tiger, yeah. But I never thought in a million days I would see one in this game. But let's get into it. Let's review it. Let's start with the armor. Now, do I really have to say much about it? It's the same thing as the actual tiger's armor. See, like basically the top part of its head, very on the top, is only 50 millimeters. But with the angle slope, makes it harder to pen the freaking top part of the head of the gun. And plus you got the whole skirt itself is 50 millimeters. So in other words, arties will shoot that and you will get instantly killed by tier 9 arties if you don't be careful. The gun muzzle brake on the thing is like nearly only 51. Now, again, that's because guns usually have thin armor. Now, the side skirts are only 80 as like a normal tiger. So again, you don't want to get flanked with this tank. This tank seems like you cannot be flanked just like an actual tiger. Now, the underbelly is only 120. Angled would make it a little bit more stronger. But here's the problem, I think. Let me back out of this real quick and let me select the Germans and the US heavies tier 8s. Okay. Reason why I did that is to pull up the original Tiger. Now, you know on the Tiger, you see the skirts on the side right around here, guys? Like you see like the bottom skirt. You pull up the King Tiger, well, the catcher King Tiger, is basically doesn't have that. And not to mention, there's none in the front. Which is a big problem because usually those skirts prevent artilleries splash damage from getting you tracked, making it harder for people to track you a little bit. It's not much, but it's better than getting tracked. So that means the catcher King Tiger will get tracked a lot more than a standard Tiger due to the fact without any of that armor. Alright, let's go back to it. Now the top part is 150, but it's angled, so it makes it a lot more stronger, almost up to nearly 160 to 170, depending on how you angle. Also, the commander's hatch is basically 121, making it a lot more harder for tier 7 guns to pen its commander's hatch. Then you got the main front of its face being 161, easily, making it the same thing as a Tiger. If you don't believe me, let's pull up the Tiger real quick. Here's the Tiger. Let's look at its armor stats. Same thing. Nothing's different. So what makes this Tiger different than all the rest? Well, let's keep looking into it and I will show you. Horsepower is 700. Power ratio is 10. Forward speed, 38. Reverse speed, 12. Chance of fire, 20. Now this tank is the slowest Tiger 2 tank in the game, only having the mobility up to 12 and maximum speed up to 38. Meaning it's a lot more slower, because if you look at the Tiger itself, the Tiger's, okay, it still goes up to 38, but it's up to 15. Wow, okay, that's weird. But it doesn't feel slow. It feels like it's a hard time starting up, you know? And unless you drove it, you probably don't understand what I'm saying. Is when you drive forward, the acceleration is a lot more harder than a Tiger 2. The gun itself is, holy shit, 6.70 seconds, meaning enhanced gun lane ride, ventilations, you could easily get this down to 5.40 almost, easily. Wow, this tank
is really fucking fast at shooting at reloading time. Aiming time 2.30, accuracy at 100 range 0.32, maximum range, I accidentally skipped one, is 720, maximum elevation is 15, and maximum depression is 8. Now the depression is what you expect on the Tiger. It's the same thing like on the Tiger 2. Matter of fact, let me look at that real quick just to clarify it. Yeah, same elevation, same thing. So the tracks itself, 30 degrees, so basically 0.9, which obviously, because I said again, there's no frontal track armor assistance. 1.1, that's a little bit iffy. 2.2. Now the problem is when you angle this is another problem. I'll show you. When you angle like this, like you do like a normal Tiger, if you shoot through the frontal part of the track, you could probably pen it easily because there's nothing armored protecting the inner plate right here, making it harder to block anything. Because unlike the Tiger 2, the Tiger 2 has more armor to where you have to penetrate through 3 layers of armor. In this, you have to penetrate only the track armor and go right through the tank, which is a big problem for people who play Tigers and know how to block with them. Viewing range 400, rotating speed 24. Again, it's very decent like the Tiger 2. Single range 710. Now let's talk about the bullets. Alright, armor piercing. Damage 180 to 300. Making this Tiger tank the same damage as a Super Persian. Making it somewhat average. When Tiger 2s are usually do 300 and something, this one only does decent amount of the same damage. Penetration 159 to 265. Again, 88. Usually good at penetration, especially at long range. One bullet costs 252, making it the cheap Tiger tank in the game. So that means this tank is one of the top tanks to make mega bucks with because of how cheap the bullet is. APCR combat grids is basically the same damage with only 194 to 324. One bullet costs 4,400 a shot. This is mostly used to pen tier 9s and 10s. Ungratefully, sadly to say, this tank, because of the APCR, it goes into a tier 10 game, making it more harder for you to, improvise your money, which I kind of hate in these day and games. I'm going to quickly say this real quick. I kind of hate these day and age of games of premium tanks, of tanks that forcibly have to make you shoot premium to shoot at their tier. I'm sorry. The whole point of a premium tank is to make money. So if you're shooting that, what's the point? Unless you pen every shot, but good luck, because sometimes you will miss. And high explosives is basically 221 to 369 with a penetration of 34 to 56. And the same bullets as the armor piercing, 252. Making this tank one of the top money-making tanks, like I said. And there you go. I still can't believe it has a German tank. But let's get into it. Let's get to the first battle. Here we are in the first battle. Now, the problem is we're in a tier 9 game. That's a big problem. My personal opinion on this tank, I really don't like having it in tier 9s and 10s. Oh, you're wondering why I was saying affirmative there? Is because the guy behind me, where is he? The TD stopped for a minute and then he was in front of me and that's why he said sorry. But he did nothing wrong. He's a good guy. So we're pushing up and stuff, and let's get into free mode for a minute. So yeah, the Tiger itself is basically what you expect. It's a Tiger, but with a different modified gun. Instead of that, it has that 88, so it only does the same damage as a Super Persian. Now, what I mean by that, it only does like 290 or 250. I've never seen it high roll 300 unless I use high explosive and hit a light tank. So that was my first shot, but I missed that Brazilian Bulldog way over there. Now the only problem is the reason why we lost is because majority of our team went over to the hill where all our light armor went that way. I could have went over there to defend it, but as you can see on the enemy team, there were so many tier 9s and 8s that I would not survive in this game. So the problem is with this new Tiger, you have to have support because of how much less damage it does. Okay, here's our first target. Shot him, tracked him, he repaired a track, and basically got ammo racked and then obliterated by me. And in case you're wondering what that is, that's the AMX M449, that heavy tank. I didn't review that because I didn't get time to do it. I apologize, guys. Maybe I will sometime. So yeah, I'm trying to play sneaky about. Obviously, I didn't detect these guys. That's why I'm moving up. Otherwise, if I knew there were that many tanks over there, I would have stopped. But again, this is free mode, so you can't see. Basically, how far I can see out is, yep, right where that tank destroyer is. So basically, 3 or 4 grids I can see far out, even with a fully trained crew. Without a fully trained crew, probably a little bit less than that. So I'm aiming at this one. Ooh, just bounced off that commander's hatch way over here. And then there's the Brazilian Bulldog. He pretty much fires at me. Where am I? Yep, he fires at me, shoots 30. Look how far of a distance I am with it. That's pretty much how far you have to shoot with that thing because it gets inaccurate if you go farther away, making it a close range Tiger II more than a far range Tiger II. So okay, he's backing off. And then this TD is coming around the corner. And now I'm pushing over this way to basically cover it. But when I moved up, I saw the E75. Now, I kept on asking request fire on the AT7 when I meant to say request fire on the E75, which is basically right there. So I have a Tiger II, E75, and basically an AT7 right there. So this is like a big, huge fight problem. And the only problem is because armor piercings on the normal thing to make it cheap is too hard to pin. So in my force, I have to fire a PCR, which is expensive, like I said, for a shot. But it's penning it, but look how little damage it does. Like, for example, like I'm firing at this Tiger II. See, I'm firing at him, got his engine, he's tracked and then got obliterated, but I got hit with Artie. Luckily, it didn't do much damage, but my fault is I should have backed off, but I had to keep pressuring the team since nobody else was going over there. So basically they're firing and firing. One medium moved up, but I noticed all our tanks were just sitting on that hill. I get it, they were mostly weak, but I'm trying to make them move up because the other side, as you can see on the north end of the map, is failing. So I keep on firing, I keep on trying to attack, and then AT thought it would be smart to try to use his cover, but I'm way over there shooting his little commander's hatch. That's the only reason why I hate that AT is because of that big, huge commander hatch, making it so easy for my 88 to actually hit. So I'm over there, I got hit with another artillery, that's why I lost more health. So I'm sitting there, shooting, and shooting, trying my best to try to survive in this type of tank. See, now my engine was going out on it, and my tracks, I fired again, it hit that, but now he's retreating a little bit to the side, but he's now getting harmed pretty bad, but he didn't die. But I'm bailing out because of the artillery. Now, like I said, this tank is not bad. I really like it. I like this.
I think I'm going insane. I'm liking a German tank? I'm an American reviewer. I'm an American reviewer and I'm liking a German tank. What is wrong with me? Oh my god!
Yeah, I can't believe I'm saying it either. I actually like this tank, despite the fact that it cannot fight in Tier 10. This is literally my favorite Tier 8 premium tank for the US. Not because of the accurate and not because it's German, it's because it's actually decent enough to fight. And it's a very good money-making tank.
It's just the problem is, the only problem I have with it cannot fight tier 9s and 10s so easily. So I'm asking SOS because the entire team is still focusing on the other ridge. I don't know what, like most of them were just sitting there. Then there's the E75. Can I get him? Can I shoot his underbelly? And then we're going to pause for a minute and show you real quick. Now you see where I hit the tank way over here? I shot him underneath his underbelly, but he turned so slightly to the left that my bullets couldn't pen. This is why I don't like fighting it in tier frickin' 9s and 10s. Because one little slight angle, it will make your tank harder to pen it. Now let's unpause it. Oh, why is it not? Okay, there we go. Now let's unpause it. See, now he's trying to do that angle thing again. But then finally I got him at 90 degrees and shot him. So yeah. It's one of those tanks you have to be really, really clever, but it still has its good perks. It really does put fear in most tanks. This tank's good with grouping and other things. Now I tried to shoot at this tank. I was like, I'm getting in range, ready, but the T-49 on the other side shot me. So I couldn't like see that. And he shot me for way over there. That was a good shot for a howitzer gun. But in conclusion, I really like this tank, even though despite the fact that this tank has some significant flaws and stuff, it's still an 8 out of 10 for me. I mean, I get it. There's a lot more problems with the tank compared to the actual Tiger 2. But you gotta think. You have a fast reloading gun. You have APCR that can actually harm tier 9s, but you have to be really clever to use. And you have to use whatever, like all the other things, but it's cheap to repair, it's cheap to other things, making you so much money. Even if you fail in a game like I did in this game, I'm still going to walk away with tons and tons of credits. So I'm going to skip this right now. It's already knows defeat, but I'll meet you back in the garage. So there you go, guys. Here's the results. My base, you got fire efficiency, spare shotter, bruiser, Mastery Badge 2, Sniper, and then you got all these delicious things. But look how much money I made. For just firing APCR a lot of times on that E75, I've done 76,668 credits with 2,283 XP. Now, even without premium, it's still a lot, because I made 28,455 with 1,522 XP. Making this tank, like I said, ideal for making money. So it's really effective. See, like on the top leaderboard, I made it to the very top in a tier 9 game. In a 9 game. When everybody else was doing all their high roll damage with it. So see, like fire efficiency, there's the E75 I was talking about. I did 1,088 on them on 5 shots. It's like, wow. Incredible. And then I also killed them. Then the Brazilian Bulldog, then the damage on the Tiger itself, then the French one. I don't know why that French one was charging out. The sides were complete crap, but it wasn't my tank to drive. Then the AT7. So basically, I did a ton of damage, despite the fact that I had to fire APCR worrying of every shot. But the problem is with this tank, you have to be precisely where you aim. That's why I got the sniper medal, because I was too afraid to waste premium rounds by firing at a tank and bouncing. And I did bounce some. I did bounce. But it was like, oh crap, kind of way. So there you have it. Tiger 2 American is good. It's good in its tier, but not good against 10s that well. But that's what you expect. But oh my god, I can't take it. And there's one more Tiger we have to review. The King Tiger. Oh, where's the fucking German Fury? Ugh. Fine, I'll review it. God help me. Alright, let's give this a try. We're going to review the King Tiger. But what can I say different about this? Well, let's see if we can find anything different. Can the armor, is the different compared to the, oh, wrong button. Can the armor be the different as the actual Tiger itself? Nope, it's the fucking same. It's the same definition of the armor that I just reviewed for the other one. Okay, let's just skip that. Okay, what about the engine? Okay, the engine horsepower is a little bit better, I think. Let me look real quick. Let me look at the Tiger. Yes, the engine horsepower is a lot better, but it's the same thing as the Tiger 2. Actually, let's take a look. Yep, 870, power ratio 12.38, forward speed 38, top reverse speed 12, chance of fire 12, 10 point... What the fuck? Oh my god. Wait a minute, guys. Am I right about this? Hang on. Oh my god. It's the same fucking gun as the Tiger 2. Why does this Tiger have the max gun as the Tiger 2? Why can't the other one do that? Oh wait, no, because America, nobody's fucking too tough if they have that gun. No. We'll give the Germans this gun. We'll give the Americans this gun. Oh my fucking, what are you thinking? Basically, this Tiger is the same thing as the Tiger 2. It's the same fucking thing, just with less ammo capacity and some of the armors on the tracks, again, not there. It's basically looks like a VKA. If you don't know it, here's a picture. See? That tank. But it just feels like that. So, let's get back to the review on it. Yeah, there's no fucking difference. They're the same fucking gun. If you want a Tiger 2 that has the same problems that I just said about the frickin' Tiger, you know, the Catcher American Tiger, but you want the exact same gun, aiming time, and fucking depression and accuracy as the Tiger 2, the King Tiger is your quickest way to get it. I'm not joking, guy. This tank, it looks like it has a small barrel, but believe it or not, it's the same fucking gun. Well, there's got to be a minor difference. Hang on, there's got to be something different about this. Okay, aiming time is a lot more longer on this. Instead of having 2.30 on the other one, this is 2.50. But again, it's the same fucking barrel and the same amount of damage it does. So this one suffers a little bit more accuracy problem, but if you're like me with the German crew, you have so many perks in a German line that you will probably make that gun the same thing as a Tiger 2's accuracy. Probably even better. Yeah, the tracks are the same basically. 26. The head, same thing. Maximum range, 400 millimeters. Maximum rotating speed, 24. Like I said, I'm going back and forth to look at this because I'm trying to figure out what to review, guys. It's the same fucking tank. So I can't really... I just mentioned the Americans. I should just drag it over and say, here's the Germans. Now the radio's up front because remember, I have the radio guy. But I could say this is where the crews are. Now that I actually played a match, I know exactly where these are. Okay, you got your driver right there. Sorry about my cat, guys. You got the radio man, believe it or not, right there, because the radio is right below the bottom. Now let's get up here. You got your accuracy guy right there, and reloader here, and then the commander, if I can get that rollout symbol on the way. Okay, right there, right in between the 111. So, yeah, now let's talk about the bullets, because I know the bullets are the same as the Tiger, but let's just see. Yeah, way different. Now I can talk about something. Armor piercing does 240 damage to 400. Penetration, 169 to 281. A lot better than the American one, but the price of bullet for one shot is 1,030. So, again, this one makes less money compared to the catch your American one if you know how to use both of them really well. But the one thing that this is different than the Americans is its APCR. Check this out. APCR is 200, well, the same damage, but it's 214 to 356 for 4,800. This tank can fight 9s and 10s, meaning that this tank can actually do something in a game. And like I said before, it has less bullets, so that's a big problem. And high explosives to 315 to 525 to penetration 45 to 70. And then the bullet cost is 650. There's nothing else to talk about, guys. There's really nothing else. It's the same thing as the Tiger 2, but just a little bit different, but only a few tweaks in there you can actually fix. The only real difference is, like I said, the tracks are off, the side skirts are off, so it makes it a lot more harder. Okay, here we go. We're going to do the first battle with a German tank, even though I clearly don't know anything about German because I speak American, they speak German. I'm an American reviewer, so I'm not going to know anything about this. Well, let's get into it. Okay, guys, here we are. Now we're driving the King Tiger. Just King Tiger, not Capture Tiger. Now the King Tiger is the polar opposite, like I said, but it's still a deadly tank to deal with. As you can tell, it's basically the Tiger without sidetracks. And it just looks weird without that, in my opinion. So here we are in the first match. Obviously, it's a tier 10 game. So these Tigers will play in tier 10s, but the only advantage this Tiger has is premium matchmaking. So I'm driving along, basically keeping the area secure, and this time I'm going to keep my tank locked on to this person, lock on to me, instead of just flying all over the place like last one. So here we are, and then someone's capping the base, and I'm like, what? So I immediately went over there to investigate. But as soon as I did, I saw the 8s and stuff coming in. So I basically just, used the hill right here to block shots and stuff if it came by. So I fired one shot, did 369, and basically, 336, I meant to say, and he's dead by him. That was a good shot. Now I've seen more tanks over here, and instead of playing it like a sniper that I usually do, I was playing it like a medium, and you'll see why in a minute. So I'm basically driving now, going through this barricade, and I'm seeing the first tier 10, the Objective 140. So I'm basically going through this debris and trying to give my group cover. So I was requesting fire on him because I knew if I didn't know that E75, or not E75, Tiger 2 wouldn't notice, but when I fired, snapshot went through the building and damaged him, but someone snapshotted me as well. I was like, ah! Now I feel bad for this guy right here, because as soon as this guy comes around the corner, I'll show you in a minute, because I was too busy focusing on that, then ammo rack, and then bam, and then head flies past me, and I'm like, what the fuck? Tier 10 got instantly ammo racked from the other side. Damn, I just feel so sad for him because it is painful to see a tier 10 getting obliterated like that, and then you have to pay all that money. It's like nearly 35,000. Oh, but I feel bad for him. Now we got up here as a Jag Tiger. So what I did, instead of counter him head on, I played like a medium and went around. Now I went around, turned, and then fired. Got him. Now, the bullets I'm loading right now is APCR. I had no choice but to load that because I was afraid to see a tier 10 in front of me. So mostly I have 15 APCR bullets loaded into this tank. Because there's 27 armor piercing and there's other things. So you saw me shooting the APCR right in the beginning, so you could tell. Now I'm loading armor piercing and basically moving out. But then I saw the E100 and I'm like, oh fuck. Because the guy who was going to help me got killed by an arty. And I'm like, shit. So I wait there and watch my teammates, and I saw a huge bunch of tanks of ours going in, like light tanks and another medium behind me. So I used that distraction to my advantage. Thankfully, the E100 wasn't even paying attention to me. So I fired the first shot right in his commander's hatch. So I basically kept the armor piercing. I'm like, okay, if I can get the team to distract him, I could just shoot as many armor piercings. So I fired again, got his ammo racked, but he probably repaired it. Because usually tier 10s, they carry repair kits. Now I'm in quite a predicament. Now I'm stuck in a house with an E100 aiming down, but luckily, dun 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 dun, here comes the day, the medium and lights. Thank you God for them. So they're trying to help me flank this tank. So you can see why I'm playing as a medium, because now I'm using team assist to help me get up there and try to get his vulnerable spots. So now I'm going around the E100, but the E100 pulls out and tries to attack the medium tank. Luckily, he got out of there just in time, though. I fired at him. It damaged him. I think he got out of there in time. Let me see. I was too busy distracted by other things. Yeah, he did. He did. But then he's focusing on me, and I'm like, oh, fuck, now I can't pen his front armor. I'm like, son of a bitch. This ain't good. So now I'm trying to like, okay, do I really want to risk armor piercing? Then I'm firing the black rounds. As you can see, that's going down. I had no choice. It was like, it's right in front of me. I'm like, oh, shit biscuits. So I fired again, tracked him, but it wasn't enough to pen that angle armor. But luckily, dun, 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 the mediums came in and saved my ass again by raping that fucking tier 10. I tracked it again, but it didn't track it. But then got killed by a T-32. Oh, that could have ended horribly for me, but thankfully the mediums helped me out and kept me alive, which thankfully at the end of the game is going to be worth it to them, because you'll see why at the end. Now I'm driving along and I'm seeing another Jag Tiger and a T-95. I'm like, oh shit. So I fired at the Jag Tiger, damaged it. So that's all I can do because he was behind those crates. I kept moving forward and forward to try to get a counterbalance. I'm basically doing blitzkrieg with a bunch of tanks, but being smart about it. This is how you're supposed to do a blitzkrieg, guys. You don't sit there, you just keep moving. Now this is, I'm curious, because I only have one APCR bullet left. And I needed that to pin this type, T-95, and he comes out. And then somehow I penned him. I don't know how or what I did, but let me go into free camo real quick. Clear up the smoke. Oh my god. I actually penned. You see that, guys? You see that? That's my bullet right there. It just barely missed him and penned it through the front armor of that plate with the APCR. I barely bounced that, but some string of luck, it penned his side cheeks right onto the frickin' thing. That's impressive kill for a Tiger. Alright, let's keep playing. But my buddy there got killed by another one of them, and that's the reason why I said luckily he kept me alive to do the final ending. So I didn't mean to push him out of the way, but the fucking Type 4 Heavy blocked most of my entrance. So here we are, 3 tanks left. But it's still terrifying because there's still an Oho and a Tortoise. Now Tortoise is not that scary if you flank them, but the Tortoise is in a good position where it's hard to flank around them without support. And we only have slow moving tanks now. The last medium we have gets killed by that. See, there he goes, by a TVP T50/51. I try to fire at him, but I fired prematurely, waited, and it frickin' missed, of course. Now I see the Oho there, but Oho's getting distracted. But the Tortoise luckily missed me, but I was able to aim a little bit, but I missed his commander's hat, so we both missed. So I went to do what normal German tanks do, side scrape. Now, side scraping is basically what I'm doing right now, using the building as to protect my frontal hull armor while backing up to where my sides are the only thing he can shoot at. So it makes it a lot more easier. But unfortunately, though, he finally hit me, and I repaired my engine, but I bailed out of there because I did not want to deal with a freaking high fucking pen velocity gun that Tortoise has. You know, it has one of the highest DPM penetrations in the game, so I had to get out of there. So now I'm moving along with the E100, and thank God the Tortoise does finally give in. Like, basically, when the E100 gets around, there, he sees the Tortoise, but the Type 4 got him. So, thankfully, whew. Now all we got is this fast little Speedy Gonzales medium with all these heavy tanks. So the E100 missed, but I'm trying to catch up with him. Now, the two people are smart. They're putting pressure on him by capping, but I didn't want to win by a cap. I want to get the full reward. I mean, yeah, capping you get rewards too, but I feels like you get more by killing everybody than just capping. And yes, they're all saying like, please cap, we need you guys to cap. We can win this if we just all cap. But I'm like, nope. I got enough hit points, even though I'm... Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I had a video error problem going on. But I'm going to show you the last minute what I mean. This is the last tank, and I'll show you what I mean when, luckily, that guy kept me alive. If Hatchet gets out of the way. Thank you, Hatchet. So here we are, last minute in the battle. So I'm driving along, and I see him getting hit. He's like, almost done hit. So what I try to do is try to wait for the shot, then fire, but he stopped right in the dead track, so that didn't work. So I'm reloading. I'm like, get him. And then I'll show you this part. Then basically I shot through that building, through that. And then bam, got him. Basically shot through all that debris to hit him. So wow, this tank is not to be messed with if you got like a very good German crew. I mean, my God. Even though it helps to have that 20 per crew I have on there, it doesn't mean that the tank itself is bad. That means I just improved some stuff by a little bit smudge. But the tank itself, my God. APCR is able to fight the tier 10s and stuff, and it's actually able to do its job. Like I said, it's supposed to do. But really good tank. But now let's see how much we earned. And there you go, guys. I have basically made 60,867 with 5,220 XP. Without premium, I would have made 16,902 with 3,480. Now that's where the downfall of this tank is. It's very better than the capture, the capture American Tiger. But the problem is, it does not have the gun as the King Tiger. And because of that, this tank still is an 8 out of 8. Now you're probably wondering, well, how they can be both then? Well, both have very good things. And I'll explain to you guys when I get back in the garage. But let's look. I got also a mastery badge. And I've only played this tank only twice now. And I got a mastery badge of a 99% ace tanker, which is really good to have on your basically the first 2 days. And trust me, people have drove this tank. It's not like I'm the only one driving it. There are people out there driving this tank. So that's impressive to have. So there I am on the top leaderboard again, but this time I didn't do a lot of damage compared to the capture Tiger. However, because of the damage, I actually succeeded in being the top, doing the flanking and supporting and making every shot I can accurate. Even though some of my shots weren't compared to the capture Tiger that I did in the last one, it still did its job. So you can see here in the results here, I've damaged the light tank. E100 I did 1,008 because he was so not distracted by me, so I was able to shoot him. T95, one lucky shot, did 73 damage, able to kill him. Then the Tortoise, and then finally the last finding kill, the TMP, basically tier 9. in conclusion, like I said, 8 out of 10. So let's head back to the garage and see the final verdict on all the prices. Okay, as you can see, both of these tanks are 8 out of 10, basically. These tanks cost $100 for both of them, but the price will go down in due time, making it probably, I would safely say, since I predicted the other tanks in the past, I would say it would be down to nearly 13,000 and probably 500, or just 14,000. And what do I think about all this? They're not bad tanks, but they're way, way too costly. I enjoy them because I'm used to these tanks pretty well. I'm getting out of character real quick. I'm used to these types of tanks. I love heavy tanks. I love driving heavy armored tanks against people, even though they're the hardest to drive in the game, because most of those high tiers, mediums dominate the battlefield by flanking and scouting and sniping and all that. But I enjoy driving these heavy tanks. And even though I give it an 8 out of 10, the price I would give it a rating is a literally 4 out of 10. It's way too costly for anyone. And between all the problems it has, between the American one, which is the most fastest shooting Tiger in the game, not Tiger 2 I meant. Tiger 2 in the game does great money, does great in the battlefield, but it has so many flaws. You can't go up against tier 10s with it easily. You can't fight even 9s easily. And the track problem. The fucking tracks will get you killed all the time. If you're not used to blocking those tracks, you're going to get a hell of a whacking every game. But regardless of all that flaws, it's still an 8 out of 10 because it's a fun tank. It's cheap to repair depending on what you put in it. If you put a lot of stuff in it, it's going to be expensive, but it's actually cheap to repair. And like I said, it is one of the top money-making tanks in now because the bullets cost less, the repairs cost less, so it makes it easy to make money in this. Now for the King Tiger, which I also gave an 8 out of 10, does the complete opposite of what it does. It's like the Achilles heel of a yin and yang. But unlike good and bad, they're both good, but bad in different departments. The King Tiger can actually fight high tiers. It makes decent money, but it won't make as enough money compared to the Capture King Tiger if these both did a good game. Both of the Capture King Tiger will make more than the King Tiger because of how costly the bullets are. So, and the APCR. And also another downfall, there's not as many bullets compared to the US that has plenty of bullets for you to pack into your tank. But the King Tiger does not pack anything like that. But the benefits of having that, it can fight tier 10s with it because it has that 219 millimeters of penetration on that APCR. But the problem is, like I said before, APCR has a hard time penning things at long range. So keep in mind that you have to make sure you have a precise altitude of where you're shooting at. If anyone knows the Tiger, then you will know how far you have to shoot with the gun. But if you don't, I would say like probably 4 grids away from it. And what I mean by 4 grids, you know those square icon map pieces? I call them like grids. So there's like 4 cross. That's pretty much, you could shoot pretty good, but anything farther than that, you have to be a little bit tactical how you aim a little bit, depending on what tank you're up against. Especially if you're up against a T95. That one's going to be still hard to pen, even with that humongous help on that premium round. But it doesn't make enough money. So, in conclusion, the Capture Tiger tank, which I absolutely love, oh my god, really, I'm the American loving this tank, is good in its own tiers, not good against higher tiers. King Tiger, can fight any tiers, but it will make less money. So it depends on you, the consumer, the buyer, the person I'm talking to have to sacrifice one of these things if you want these tanks. And trust me, they're great tanks. They're fun to play. You just have to get used to not having them hit you in the tracks, not getting flanked, and also trying to use your bullets wisely. If you do that, you will make a lot of money regardless on both these tanks. But the capture will make more, and the King Tiger won't. And I'm sorry, I'm beating this a lot because so many people ask me what's the difference between the two, and this is the major difference. What? These tanks are good. They're good. They're fucking good. But where did they come from? I mean, who's responsible for all that?
What can we say but you're welcome?
I need to stop drinking booze before going to bed. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like on the bottom if you really like this video and just want to see more of this. Also, leave a comment down at the bottom to also tell us what tanks you want us to review, from the tech tree to the premiums, or maybe some future special event tanks if you want those reviewed as well. But again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you comrades in the next video. Bye guys.